Hey, fellas, hope you had a restful Sunday. Um, I want you to think back to the beginning of the school year. We asked you to really to identify what your why was. Why do you participate in wrestling, or why do you do anything really? To excel in something, you have to fully understand, believe, and grasp why it is that you are um, putting yourself through the punishment or the adversity or just the difficulty of something. And for the sport of wrestling, we get to this time of the year, and it is a grind. It has been a grind for some of you for a while. But um, one of the things that I did years ago is I identified through an exercise that I put some of you guys through. But one of the things that I did is I identified what my core values were, who I who I aspired to be, what kind of a man did I want to be, and those core values were I wanted to be a man who constantly pursued excellence, was always looking um, um, to do better today than I did yesterday, and know that I'm going to do better, try to do better tomorrow than I did today. Some days I do really well at that. Some days I don't. But the idea of pursuing excellence is a core value of mine. The second core value is to add value to other people, and I pursue coaching. I do what I do. I make the big bucks, but I do what I do because men made an impression in my life when I was your age. When I was in my teens and 20s, they invested in me, and because these mature men invested in me, that um, that inspired me to want to do it, to pay it forward, right? To give it back. So I try to add value to your life, and again, some days I do really good at that, and some days I don't. Some days I don't, and but that's something that I aspire to do, is add value to people, which is why I teach and coach. The third thing is what I want to kind of focus on this week. And my third value is to try to stay positive. And for me, it is very easy to get negative. It is very easy for me to think of um, all the things we did wrong yesterday, right? And sometimes I say, well, that's how you pursue excellence, is you correct the things you did wrong. But in the wrong mindset, with the wrong perspective, uh, that can allow me to be very negative. That feeds a really negative side of me. And so I know that I want to be a man who stays positive. And so our theme this week is going to be this idea of trying to stay positive. I'm going to read out of Romans 12. Paul is talking to this church, and it's a pretty common verse, but I'm going to read verse 2, okay, in chapter 12. And what Paul writes, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect. And in verse 1, he challenges us to be living, that we are to be a living testimony to what the gospel says. Um, a living sacrifice, a living testament as to what the gospel says. And how do we do this? And he says, do not be conformed to this world. The world tears us down. The world tells us that we're not worthy. The world tells us that we're never going to amount to anything. The world tells us that what we do is maybe by luck. Maybe it was an accident. It diminishes our gifts and diminishes our achievements. Okay? Or it tells us that that's who we are, is what our achievements are. And so we begin to pursue this idea of results. And I fall into the three lies. If you've been to Man Monday, that you're a man if you have a big billfold, you're good on the ball field, and you're good in the bedroom. Those are lies that the world tells us. But Paul says, do not be conformed, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Positivity starts in your head, all right? You begin to focus on those things those positive things in your life, things like gratitude, things like talking to yourself and not listening to yourself, things like affirmations, positive affirmations, mantras, those types of things. Those things allow me to stay positive. So the challenge this week is um, whether you are whether you've had success or you haven't had the success you wanted. We wrestled well on Saturday, but we could wrestle better, right? So instead of saying we did bad, I want to try to frame things in a more positive mindset, and so that's our focus this week as we go forward. And again, I do not like to lose to Morningside, and we did, and the score looked like we lost in a big way, but it was a lot closer than that. But it's easy for me to focus on the L, and I don't want to focus on the L. I want to focus on how do we get a W. I want to focus on how do we get better. How can we wrestle better on Friday than we did Saturday, and we do that by focusing on what is positive. So I challenge you guys to do that. Allow your minds to be transformed, okay? Transformed by the renewing of your mind. And why do we want to do that? Because people are watching. Your life is a witness, all right? Your life has ripples. And whether it's your teammate, whether it's a sibling, whether it's someone that's down the hall from you, people watch how you as a man, how you handle adversity, how you respond. I told you guys after Morningside that the failure doesn't define you. How you respond to that failure, that can define who you are, because that's what people see. So get some rest. Get ready to get after it tomorrow. We got some work to do, and try to stay positive. When you set your goals for the week, this is what I want to get done. Um, just keep in mind that you get to do these things. You don't have to. You get to. So, again, I'm blessed to coach you guys. I'm excited for this week to see how we finish off our regular season. We're gonna have 9 guys wrestling on Friday. We're gonna have quite a few guys wrestling on Saturday, and then we're done for the regular season. We'll identify who our 12 are. We'll probably identify 14 in case a couple guys get hurt, which has happened in the past. So, and then we'll kind of give you some guidelines as to what practices will look like here in the last month of the season. All right, it's been a good year, fellas. We've done some good things, so get ready to do some more good things. All right, I'm out.